What is up, guys? Follow Claptrap here. Today I'm bringing you my Star Wars Rogue One review. Now, I saw this movie yesterday, actually. Me and my father went to see it because his birthday was on Thursday. Went to see it. He was a huge Star Wars fan, Been watching them since they came out, and obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan. I run a YouTube channel based on gaming. How are you a gamer without loving Star Wars? And so I figured even though I'm primarily Fallout and Borderlands, most of you guys would like this kind of Star Wars kind of nerdy geeky stuff. So I'm bringing you my Rogue One review. Alright, so the first half here is going to be spoiler free, and then I'll let you guys know. It'll be a little pop up on the screen, and then we'll get some spoilers in there if you've already seen it. But anyways, so here we go. I would give it. I don't like to give it numbers, but it's one of the better films I've ever seen. I mean, I don't think it's as good as some of the other Star Wars films. I don't think it's as good as any of 4, 5, or 6. It's about on par. But I mean, that's up to you to decide what your opinion on the first three is. But this one is definitely on par with 7, and it's good, and it fits right into the series. So if you don't know, this movie is supposed to take place between episode 3 and episode 4, and the story is supposed to be how, because in episode 4, New Hope, they obviously blow up the Death Star, and sorry, that's a spoiler if you haven't seen it by now. Come on. But anyways, in episode 4, they obviously blow up the Death Star. The rebels do, and they have plans. And they know, the weakness of the Death Star. If you shoot it in the reactor, will blow up. But this is the story on how the Rebel Alliance gets these plans and kind of the rise of the Rebel faction in Star Wars. So one thing it does really well is that it really fills in a lot of plot holes in the series. A lot of things that people have wondered about in the series. It does that very well. It fills in those gaps very well, and that's, in my opinion, the best thing it does. It introduces a lot of new characters that were never before in the series, and will never. They're specifically for this film, like the main character Jyn, and her whole crew. But there are some returning characters. Like there's a couple scenes with Vader in them. A couple scenes with Princess Leia in them towards the end of the movie. So, it brings some new characters, brings back some old characters, but they all fit in very well together. And, it's very, very good, especially for... I wasn't a huge fan of Episode 7. I thought it was, an Episode 4 remake, but I think this is definitely good. It's a great spin-off movie. It's something new. It brings something, offers something new to the series. And, I think it's really good at doing some of the things I mentioned before, like filling in the plot holes. And, giving us just an intriguing Star Wars movie to watch when I'm not there. All the characters are great. Jyn was great, the main character. And all of her supporting characters of, Cassian Andor, he was really cool. He's like the second main character. There's Imperial Droid K2SO. He's really cool in how they use him to deal with the Empire and stuff. He's helping the rebels in this case. It's really cool how they incorporate him into the story. Saul Guerrera, he's only in the story for a minute, but he's cool in the way he's kind of a leader of like an underground rebel faction. There's also like a gang kinda. It's cool how they incorporate him into the story. My personal favorite was Chirrut Imwe, I think it was. He's basically like he's almost a Jedi. He's kind of blind. He can use the Force. He can sometimes, but he's not quite a Jedi. But he's really cool. And there was also the Imperial pilot. I can't remember his name. He was really cool, and how they incorporate him into the story and the way how he can provide some intelligence. How he's a kind of a defector from the Empire and stuff like that. And the battle scenes, there was a lot of them. There's a couple space battle scenes, a couple massive like land battle scenes, stormtroopers and rebels and stuff. It was pretty sweet. There's a massive space battle at one point in the movie, which is freaking sick. It's awesome. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but the battle scenes are great. So that's all I'm going to say without spoiling anything. If you haven't seen it and you're a big Star Wars guy, or even if you're not a big Star Wars person, I would still go see it. I mean, it's it's better if you're into Star Wars, but it's still a good movie even without knowing the whole story of Star Wars. So I would say go watch it, please. It's a great movie. But so now I'm gonna start spoiling things. So you have to count of 5 to tune out if you're not into spoilers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, spoiler time. Okay, my opinion, the greatest thing the movie did was fill in the plot hole of, okay, they created the Death Star, the most powerful weapon in the universe, but they made one tiny flaw that can make the whole thing blow up. But now with the story of Jin and how Galen, Jin's father, was basically captured to create the Death Star, and how he was obviously against the Empire and stuff. He knew his daughter was a rebel, so he created the one flaw in the Death Star and messaged his daughter, or messaged Saw about it to let his daughter and the rebel faction know about this one tiny flaw, basically to avenge his wife's death and things like that. That is freaking that's my opinion the best thing about the whole movie, how it fills in that one plot hole. I think how they use the Imperial pilot to in the story is awesome. How they can use him, and he successfully infiltrates the Imperial defenses to get through the shields so they can get into the Rebel archives. That is freaking sweet. Chirrut is amazing, the way he uses the Force and how he freaking can dodge the bullets, or I guess lasers or whatever you want to call them, and have them hit people and stuff like that. Baze, Chirrut's like little buddy there with the machine gun. He is freaking sweet. Cassian I love Cassian. He's one of my favorite characters. I mean, I love this movie. One thing I got to say about the battle scenes that I thought was 10 out of 10 was how they used the Hammerhead Corvette to ram into the Star Destroyer to take down the shields. That is freaking awesome. That is amazing how they do that. That is so creative. That is sweet. That's awesome. There's so many cool things about it. I like Saw's little rebel faction there. How they captured all Jin and all those people, but they don't really know who they are, and that's just that part of the movie was amazing. The whole Galen story about his avenging his wife's death and never falling to the Empire and stuff. That's awesome. And the ending of the movie is kind of, it's kind of cliche, but it's still really cool about how the plan is getting blown up, and then Jin and Cassian are just sitting there holding hands, and they just embrace each other while the explosion is happening. That was great. When I saw it, there's a standing ovation at the end of the movie in the movie theater, and it was well deserved. It was the only time I've ever seen that happen, besides when I saw the midnight release of episode 7. It was sweet. I'm sure there's more things I could say, but you got the point. This movie was great. If you haven't seen it, please do. 10 out of 10. It fills in so many plot holes. If you're into Star Wars, it's an 11 out of 10. For a spin-off movie, it was great. Like I said before, it's on par with 7. I don't think it's quite as good as 4, 5, or 6, but I don't think anything will be as good as those. And it's way better than 1, 2, and 3. So, if you haven't seen it, please do. Please go see this movie. It is so cool. It explains so much in the Star Wars universe, the rise of the Rebel faction, etc. It is so cool. Please go see it. Alright, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Follow Claptrap here. Check me out on Twitter. That's my handle, Follow Claptrap. I'll link it down below. Like and subscribe for more. If you dislike it. That's cool with me. And, please, if you saw Star Wars Rogue One, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And thank you guys for watching. Follow Claptrap, signing out.